Many people say that they want to manifest abundance. And with that, they often mean a plenitude of desirable things such as love, money, or a lot of free time and health. But if you've ever chased those things, you know it never feels like quite enough or like it's finally arrived. What if abundance isn't about chasing at all? What if it's already here, just waiting for you to be noticed? In this short expression video, I will take you on a journey that will help you to get in tune with the energy of abundance right here, right now. Because what we nurture and embody in our present is what expands into our future. Let me first take you back to a few days ago when I was on the back of a motorbike driving through Bali. After a period of much surf, action and yang, my body asked me to slow down and become still. As I was completely mesmerized by the mix of Balinese beauty and hectic chaos, these insights about abundance were suddenly dropped inside my mind, like a message from above, and this is what it said. The ego is limited, the soul is abundant. The ego sees scarcity, the soul sees possibility. If we want to live in abundance, we must embody possibility and the natural flow of our soul, because our souls are abundant. So what does this mean? Let's break it down together.
Hey, Droppie, klaar?
It means having the choice outside of your conditioned mind and body. If your ego is conditioned to be limited in choice, having the choice to choose something outside of that conditioning is when the door to possibility opens. Every time you break the cycle of living by the rules and confinements of your small ego self, that's when you unlock more and more of your abundant soul flow into your life. Carl Jung once wisely said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." So when you shine a light on your subconscious programming, your shadows, your unconscious patterns, beliefs, and intentions, you see clearly how these shape your life, then you are gifted the choice. And having the choice is freedom. It's how your free will activates. Repeat or choose a different path. Boom, there you have it. An open door straight into the world of abundance.
Oh yeah? Yeah.
Suddenly, you're not doomed to live in the fate of your conditioning, programming, or ancestral karma. You now actively open new possibilities to live a greater soul-aligned destiny filled with abundance. If you want to move from limitation to unlimited potential, you have to awaken to your spirit. To me, the journey of opening up towards abundance has been massive. It's been a massive deconditioning process where, I've had to really deconstruct where I came from, my conditioning, my childhood wounds, around valuing myself, around self-worth. So I just want to give you a snippet of my experience with this and how I've processed going from lack to living more and more in abundance every single day. And this is an ongoing process for me, to be quite honest. But I thought it would be valuable to share that with you so that you can see how you can actually tangibly anchor yourself into abundance right now, even though you feel like maybe financial freedom is very far away, or having unlimited time and space to design your days the way that you love is actually something that's really achievable in this present moment right now. First, I want to share a bit of where I came from. When growing up, and you might recognize yourself in this, I had the example of two parents who were working very hard. My mom didn't have a job. Well, she had she had a job, but she stopped working when I believe the third child came around, and I'm the fourth of a family of four. And so I've always had the example that my dad was always working very hard. My mom was always trying to make sure that all our needs were met. And, that she was driving us around like crazy to see her friends, to go to hobbies. And we lived in a city. So, she was the one that had to take us to all these places. Otherwise, it wouldn't be safe for us to go somewhere. Within that world, I've seen my parents always put others first, right? And I am so grateful for everything I've got from them. They did the ultimate best they ever knew at that moment in time in their lives, but for me, seeing my parents running around like that and just fulfilling their parental responsibilities, I learned subconsciously that putting yourself first isn't something that you do. Pleasing others, prioritizing others, or other external things such as work or expectations from the world before your own needs is something that I've seen growing up and was subconsciously imprinted within me. So that was one of the things. And another thing was that there was always a lack of time, because there were four children and there was a lot to do. And shout out to all the moms and parents out there who are managing their children's needs. I think it's challenging parenting in the matrix and in the system that is designed to make sure that people are always being kept busy or always chasing something outside of themselves, where also you need to work to be able to pay the bills and to have all the luxuries of life, if you even can have those luxuries in the first place. So, the whole system has been designed to have us chasing something without actually being able to be present in the first place, and to be present in our day-to-day lives, and to slow down and to connect with ourselves and with the flow of abundance, right? What I've seen was that when growing up, there was always this rushing energy of getting somewhere, or achieving was a very big thing for me as well. And so I grew up not really loving myself, and I don't blame my parents for not being able to, in their busy day-to-day lives where they were giving everything possibly that they could, there was not a lot of time and space left for emotional regulation. And also I feel like it's the generation that I was growing up in, and their generation especially, there wasn't at all space for that. There wasn't any awareness around that. So I grew up feeling like my emotions and my inner world didn't really matter. And of course that wasn't their intention at all, and if they could turn back time and do it differently, or if they knew how to attend to those needs of mine, then they would have. So I just want to put that context out there. But this was the time and space that I grew up in, and so with that belief system, I took on the beliefs that whatever I needed, whatever I emotionally, those things weren't present if I needed them. So I learned that whatever I need or I am not important, right? And when you connect this to self-worth, when you feel like you always operate from a belief system where you feel like you are not important, you basically don't value yourself, and you start valuing other things that you will feel. So you start create coping mechanisms that will make you feel like, oh, maybe now I'm important. So for me, and especially in my family, achieving and performing was a big thing. And I feel like throughout the entire society, this is a big thing. You know, when you achieve X, then you're worthy, or when you have those certificates to show, then, you know, you're good or seen as valid or valuable. So I started to confuse as a child achievements with a sense of worth. So, what I started to do when I was little to feel valid and to feel worthy, I started to create mechanisms in my life where I then started to achieve. Because I thought if I achieve a lot and if I stay busy all the time and show people all the things that I'm doing, and this is not only career based, this is also socially based, right? If I can have as many appointments with friends, or I have a lot of friends and I have all these things to show, then I must be worthy. But the truth is that you still operate from the belief of lack, of I am not important, I am not worthy, whatever I need is not valid, I don't deserve, I'm not enough. And so you start to create all these mechanisms to get that worth somehow, or to get that validation or that love. And so when you operate, and I was operating from this space for a long time, and I'm still deconditioning myself and learn to live in and lean in more into the world of abundance and in the world of doing from a place of being, of worth, of self-love, of that place where everything and anything is already present and I'm not chasing something, but I'm doing more out of already being this energy right now. And that has been a massive journey. And so, you know, the first thing that I want to say is that, you know, in order to become abundant and in order to live an abundant life, it already starts with recognizing where you have abundance right now and recognizing where in your conditioning you might have learned to live in a scarcity energy, to live from the place of deficit, right? To live from the place of scarcity. And to see, okay, to release those patterns from your life and to release your patterns from your body, mind, spirit. And this starts with healing. This starts with doing shadow work. This starts with doing inner child healing. So that is the biggest and most massive place where you can really shift your reality from lack to abundance without actually achieving something in the external. Because I want to remind you that anything that you chase or anything that you want to change in the external, it's always going to be a reflection of what you have to change within, right? We cannot truly change anything in our external without shifting anything here first. So that is the biggest thing that I have had to walk through in order to live in the energy of abundance and to live in the energy of self-love and worth and finding new, discovering new things about myself. When you start living and embodying this energy, you start to explore yourself in a different way and you start to get to know yourself in a different way. And things for me that have shifted really has been, for one, that I deserve, that I don't feel guilty when I buy something, and I really had to work through that, right? Having needs and wanting things and not feeling shame or guilt when I purchase something that I truly love, that I feel good in. For example, clothing, you know, where I feel beautiful in. So there's also this world of beauty that starts opening up, and a world of more genuine self-expression, a world where you feel like you start to explore more of your creativity, right? If you don't have to perform, if you don't have to achieve something outside of yourself to become worthy of it, then what would you do with your time, right? Everything of how you learn to do life starts being different and start to feel different and look different at the same time. So it's really interesting when you start doing this inner work, how you start to shift your entire paradigm and your entire reality, and how you start seeing that, oh, whoa, I'm attracting different people. Maybe you start to look differently, right? You start to glow a little bit more different. You feel like you start to dress more differently. So those are consequences. And I want to give a couple examples of how how I also cultivate this energy in my life. I love this practice, and I got this from Deepak Chopra when I was at the start of my awakening journey, where he was showing that you can actually start to notice abundance around you through being present. And the beautiful thing with being present, well, first of all, abundance lives in the present moment, right? It doesn't live in a place in your mind. It doesn't live a place in the future. It doesn't live in the past. It lives in here and now. That's abundance is also the flow of God, the flow of the universe, right? So when you start to be present with your breath, with your bodily sensations, with everything that you have around right now, and there are a lot of butterflies flying in this garden, it's beautiful, you start to notice that actually abundance is everywhere around you. So, for example, when I'm looking right now in the garden, I see an abundance of leaves, right? I see an abundance of plants. I see an abundance of tiles on the floor. I see an abundance of grass. I see an abundance of insects flying around. I see an abundance of birds and, well, not so much abundance of clouds right now. It's pretty sunny right now, but you get what I mean. So looking for abundance, shifting the definition and the meaning that we give it in our lives, is it's not only money, it's not only love. Yes, it is all those things, but it's also a plenitude of things that you see around. So that's something that I love to incorporate in my day-to-day life, to become more present of this energy and to invite more of this energy into my life. It's okay, where can I invite more of this plenitude? Where can I see a plenitude of things in my reality that already exists right now, right? Because abundance lives within us and it lives around us. Then another thing that I love to do, especially because I came from a background where I felt like I always needed to achieve in order to be wealthy and and worthy, I needed to achieve and be productive all the time. And so for me, abundance also means resting, right? Being able to rest and create whenever I have that inspired impulse, and create from a place of fullness and wholeness. And that is a completely different world. So for me to be able to relax and rest without feeling guilty is massive, right? And I feel like more people could really benefit from that practice. Can you allow yourself to rest? Or, I don't know, call in sick? And I don't want to give that example, but not that you should call in sick always, but you know what I mean. Like, can you take time for yourself or say no to things you feel like you need to show up, or you're obligated to show up when you don't feel like you have the internal space for it, or you're just tired? Can you rest or say no and yes to yourself without feeling guilty or shame for it? That's a beautiful practice. Another thing that I absolutely love to do, and I created this highlight on my Instagram years ago. I used to keep a gratitude journal. So every morning I would wake up and I would journal a couple of pages about all the things that I was grateful for. And the beautiful thing is, when you start to focus on gratitude, you start to see everything that's already present in your life. And I feel like gratitude and abundance are such a such a connected energy flow, because gratitude helps you to connect with, whoa, what's already here right now? What do I already have right now? It helps you to shift and to look for all the things that are already great and beautiful in your life right now. And that is abundance, right? It's the energy of what's already here. What am I so fortunate with already? Like, what am I grateful for? What are the beautiful things in my life that I already have? So you start shifting to abundance instead of looking through the lens of separation and lack and scarcity. So you start to see and recognize the good and the amazingness in your life right now and the fullness of your life. You start to look at what's here instead of what's missing. That's massive. And then also inviting in more joy. This is something that I'm currently embracing in creating my videos, in anything that I do, whatever, whether I'm driving from A to B, I would just, I don't know, slow down and look around. Instead of driving fast and not seeing where I'm at, I want to take in my environment. I want to see the people who are walking next to the streets or how people live. I want to see the animals and the cows and the dogs, right? Here in Bali, there are a lot of those. So that is one of the ways that I invite more joy. And another thing is, if you're new here, you don't know that I surf. If you've been here, you know that, I love to surf. And so just having childlike fun, right, in the water and being a child and making jokes without actual purpose behind it. So doing things just for the purpose of doing things that you enjoy, like not having to be productive. And I feel like anything that you do in life, and I will probably do a video about inner child and all the processes that I incorporate in my life so you can learn from that as well. It's like creating, being creative, or I like to play the ukulele and I like to sing from time to time. Just laying somewhere and looking at the clouds passing by and just doing things that don't have to be productive, right? Where can I invite joy into my day-to-day life where otherwise it would be meaningless, or I'm just trying to get somewhere, or trying to chase? Instead, can I have joy in the process of creating, in the process of just being here? And that's what life is, right? If we always hurry from A to B, then we miss life, and we don't want that. So another massive aspect for me in finding abundance is actually recognizing abundance in my personality and in my spirit and in my soul. And what do I mean with that? In many videos, I've talked about parts healing and how I've gone through that entire process and how that has helped me to gain self-trust and to shift into a world of abundance and really embody wholeness and self-love. So another thing that I found that abundance is what it truly means for me as well is recognizing the plenitude within myself, all the parts within myself that exist, all the different parts, whether that be my quirkiness or my goofiness or sensuality or my playfulness, my childlike parts, or my more adult parts, or my creative self, or my competitive self, that sometimes comes out in surfing as well, like my confident self, my insecure self. So that we all have so many different parts of ourselves, and I feel like the more that we start to explore our inner landscape and who we are, the more we see that we have so many sides of us that are present every single day. We're not just one being that is one-dimensional. We are multi-dimensional, and we have multi-dimensional selves in human form, perhaps also in spirit form, extraterrestrial form. So this is what I feel abundance also truly is for me, is recognizing, whoa, I have a wealth of self, right? I have a wealth of self within me, and it's pretty cool to witness it and to not be, so I'm all of that, but I'm also none of it, right? None of those things really define me because I'm multidimensional. In itself, I'm abundant within myself, and I don't have to choose one thing. I'm everything and none of it. So that is how I incorporate abundance in my life, and how I can actually embody this energy, and how I've shifted and still am shifting into allowing more and more of this flow into my life. And so I feel like those things are very tangible, instead of it being a thing that we chase, a thing, an idea, or I will be happy when, or I will feel abundant when. We have to shift the mindset of how can I recognize that abundance lives in me already right now in this present moment. And that is something that will be so helpful on your journey. Or maybe not. You let me know whether it is helpful for you or not. So some last thing that I want to give you, or that I would love for you to take away with this video, is start recognizing within yourself. For example, how can I embody more of this energy in my present day? What are different ways that I can practice every single day in little ways that help me to recognize this abundant energy in my life today? So, for example, the gratitude journaling, or slowing down without feeling guilty, or those kind of things. Look at what is specific to you. What do you struggle with, and how can you reframe that, or how can you help yourself to look a different way, or to invite more of that abundant energy in your life right now through those things? How can you shift those elements of your life? And one last practice that you can also use is, where can I embody more possibility in my life? I shared this at the start of the video, that abundance is an energy of possibility. So if you want to tune into more possibilities, see where do you feel limited in life. And for example, invite more possibility in your day-to-day life through not just seeing possibility for your life, but also in your interactions. For example, when people want to meet up and you don't feel like you really want that right now, or you do feel like you want that right now, or maybe you feel like you want to do it another time, just know that you have possibility within how you relate to others, right? You don't have to please others, or you don't have to say yes when you want to say no, or recognize that you have all the choices available to you. Or when you wake up, instead of grabbing for your always for coffee, recognize that you can choose something different. You can choose water, you can choose, I don't know, lemonade, you can choose tea, you can choose to do something completely different, or exercise first. Just see where in your life you can invite more possibility, where you are maybe a little stuck in a pattern, or stuck in a way of doing that you usually don't really think about. You just do the same thing always, the same routine. Okay, and I would love to end this video with this question. Ask yourself this: if anything is possible for me, what life am I able to dream? Can I look through the eyes of abundance in my present day life and recognize what's already here? I'll leave you with that for today. Subscribe, say hi in the comments, share it with anyone who you think could benefit from this message, and like this video if you enjoyed it. And I'm looking forward to see you in the next video. Bye for now.